Soapery. Today we are going to be doing our live chat, and I am sorry my background is not beautiful, but as most of you know, I am still building my shop. So we're actually in, the studio that has lots and lots of boxes and things absolutely everywhere, but that's okay, isn't it? So today what we're going to be talking about is vendoring at very big events. It's one of those things that lots of people want to do, but it's actually quite hard to know, how to actually get into these events. What is the process? What do you actually do? Recently I did one at the Royal Melbourne Show. Now I will tell you, the Royal Melbourne Show is one of the really big events in Melbourne, Australia. And it's basically like a massive big show, lots of countries have them. So you have, animals and things like that get judged. And then on the other side, you have a lot of retail selling their products, and of course brides and things like that. So basically that's, a part of vendoring at these events. But you can't just show up or just, ask to be in. It doesn't happen like that. It's a really, really long process. So I thought today, maybe I'll give people a little bit of an idea on, how to actually get into these events, how you actually, what you do, what is the process. Because I know myself, I really wanted to do a lot of these events, but I thought, how do I do it? I had no idea how to get involved in these events, what to do, how do you even apply? Because it's a long process. So, like normal, below me here, I have my papers that I've already done some research for you so that I can answer your questions as we go along. And hopefully I can get that silly, annoying thing off my screen, but I probably can't. So as we're going along the video, if you feel like this deserves a thumbs up, of course, please give me one of those. It does help my videos, and it of course helps my channel. So anyway, that would be really lovely if you don't mind doing that. And of course, you can join Patreon to get further advice, and I will be putting a few more extra links and things like that on Patreon later on today. So now let's talk about a few things. Now, first of all, the cost. What is the cost? Well, hold your hats, everyone. It is not cheap. I'm going to be honest with you. Definitely not cheap. So to do the Royal Melbourne Show, this goes for 11 days. 11 days is when you're actually selling. And then you need 1 day before to set up and 1 day after to pack down everything. So the cost of it is around about $5,500 to be a vendor. We're talking AU money. So in the US, that's probably around $7,500. That's if you have a standard 3 meter by 3 meter stand. My daughter had a 3 by 3 meter, but then she had a corner spot. So a corner spot has two ways for people to enter and exit, because obviously you don't have a door on each sort of side. So that would cost an extra $900. So that's roughly $6,500 for the stall that she had. So very, very expensive. But, you get what you pay for, I guess, isn't it? Oh, thank you, lovely. I really do appreciate that. Beauty is everything is saying, just give me a thumbs up, and that would be really handy. But I would really appreciate that, and I don't ask that very often because I really come on here just to help everyone, because I know when I started doing all of these things, social media, it's really hard to get started. But, anyway, that would be really handy. So, like I said, it's roughly about $6,500. I know it's a lot of money, and like if I'm saying $6,500 US, I'm going to say that's maybe around $9,000 US. So a lot of money. Anyway, but you have to remember they are getting roughly 500,000 people through the door. They get a lot of people. It's a very big show. So it's like, if you did a craft market, they may get, 20,000 people through the door. So they're not going to get the numbers that a show would. So that's why you're paying these big dollars. And look around, because not every show is going to suit your company. So, and I'll give you a couple different shows as we go along that are in Australia that you can kind of look at as we go along. So anyway, like I said, we've talked about that. Now let's talk about the process. Now, to get into a show like this, firstly, you have to email, and they, so this is called the Royal Melbourne Show, or actually, I'm going to tell you this, it's just been bought out a year ago by another company. So now it's called the Melbourne Royal Show. So they had to change it because they couldn't use the exact same name. But anyway, same thing, you know, everyone knows what it is. It's been around for decades. I used to go as a child, and I used to take my children. So anyway, the process is, firstly, you need to go and just, you know, go on their website. You would apply to be a vendor, and this would be, doesn't matter what country you're in, it'd be a similar thing. So you apply to be a vendor. On that, they will actually ask you for your ABN, or if you're in America or another country, you'd have like a business number or a registration number. So you need to tell them that, all of your details. They'll ask things, you know, how long have you been trading? And then you also have to upload pictures of your stall. So if you've done markets and things like that, they want to see it looks good, because let's be honest, they don't want to have a whole heap of retail stores that just look a bit cheap and nasty. They want ones that look good, that are colourful, that are fun. They just don't, you know, they've got to be careful. So, because otherwise they'll have people complaining, saying, I went to the retail and it wasn't good. So that's why you've got to send pictures. So make sure you have some really good pictures. And even if you haven't done other stalls, set it up in your backyard or something. Just set one up. They don't know where it is, but you know, you need to set something up so that they can see photos, and make sure your photos are pretty good of your products, your stand, and so on. And on my you know, original picture, which you would have clicked onto to watch this video, you can see that is my daughter's stand. So this is my daughter's one, and I actually help her with a lot of events. So her company is called Honey Blue U, and she's an earring company, but she sells many things, not just earrings. You know, it'd be like earrings. She sells like little children's rings, like. And when I'm saying little rings, it's not expensive rings. They might be $3 or $4. And that's the thing. You need to have items that are cheap and items that are expensive, because you might have lots of people that only want to spend a few dollars, and then you still get the sale, and people that want to spend a large amount, and then you get the bigger sale. So sometimes those little sales drag people in. And I will talk about costing a little bit after. I will give you some figures as well. I know my daughter won't mind, but it might help you just to kind of understand. And please don't think, well, because it's $6,000, I'm going to make $50,000, because that's not true. You probably won't. You know, not in these times. In really good times, yes. So like I said, your process is doing all of that. Then they may ask for more and more, and it can take months and months before you get to the end of the process and they accept you. So you're not going to get an answer straight away. That's just the way these big events work. And then once they do that, they ask you to pay your money. Usually you pay, you know, half up front and the rest when they give you the last bill or so on. But and you can have a double stall that's like, you know, 13,000, I think, something like that, or 11,000. You know, but and some people have 2 or 3 stalls running. So, you know, it's big money, you know, but it depends on what you're selling and whether you think you're going to get the people there. But and at the start, I definitely suggest you only choose like a 3 or 4 meter stall, because otherwise it just costs too much money, and you have to think of the end game. Are you going to make that money back? It's super, super important. So anyway, that's what we did on this event. We set it up, and the thing is, don't be scared that, you know, if you set everything up and things aren't selling on day one, or you notice people aren't looking at a certain thing, or your stall's too cramped, my suggestion for that is change things around. At the end of the day, just move some shelves and try, because the next day might be better. And when my daughter and I do these festivals or events, we often do that. Move something around. If it's not working, just move it. And can I tell you, one of the best things she ever put her money towards was, number one, the twirly racks. So, you know, if you think of those spinny racks that you have in stalls to put earrings and things like that on, so people can just spin them. And she also has, which you can probably see, I'm not sure if you can see in the background, but they're like white shelves, and they are collapsible. They're so easy. They just fold into each other. It's a white metal shelf, and if they get scratched, you can just buy a cheap, you know, white metal paint and just spray over them again to keep them fresh. So that's something she did, and super, super worth it for anyone that's going to do things like that. So now let me look at my sheet. Oh, another thing you need to do, you need to have your insurance, your indemnity. It needs to be ready. You'll need to prove that you do have insurance, they will tell you what you need. You may need to go back to your insurance company to get extra insurance if these places want that, and it's really important that you do it, because you don't want to be selling something without that. And it's like if someone comes to the show, they trip over on your stall and then they hit their head, they can sue you. So that's why you need, all those other insurances. So, but I'm not an agent, so please do talk to your insurance company doing that. Now, let's talk about the event and how tiring it is, because I'm going to tell you, we were so tired. So this event starts from 9 in the morning and finishes at 6:30 at night. Now, remember, it runs for 11 days, plus the setup and breakdown. So realistically, it's 13 days. And so my daughter, she is 17 weeks pregnant, and she thought, she was going to do the whole stall, except for one day that I was on my own with someone else. And then she soon realised she couldn't do that because she was just too tired. So one of the days I came in with my son's girlfriend, and we did the day together and Emily stayed home. There was another day that I did it with Pearl alone and Emily stayed home, and other days I helped, or my other daughter, Annie helped. So I think I was there, I'm going to say 9 days all up. And Emily, probably similar, because, we made her take a few days off. But this is what I mean. You need a lot of people to help you do these events. It's really hard without a tribe, So ask your family, friends, whatever, before you do it. Please make sure you find a group of people that are going to help you, because if you don't, it's really hard. It's hard. And basically what happens with this one, we were in a shed. So they have... this one's called the Pura Shed. So it's a nice new massive shed. And this was like, I guess, a kids' pavilion. So they had face painting and stuff like that. And you know what? When they have pavilions like that, where there's kids-free events, you want to be in that pavilion, because that drags people in. People go, it's free, and the kids can paint, or they can, they had a few things where they dug for things and whatever. So those things bring people in. So that was definitely the best pavilion to be in. And once you set it up at night, you just put your tarps around your product, and security are there, and then they lock the doors at 6:30 once you've all left. So that's the good thing. You don't have to keep bringing it in and out the whole time. But that's basically how that one works for everybody. So it's super important, isn't it? You do need high-vis jackets on when you're bumping in and bumping out. So that means, your setup day and your pack down day. They do make you have, the orange or yellow high-vis jackets for safety. There's a lot of safety around, and you have to slowly put your car in. You have to put your warning lights on as you're driving in, and that's just so that people know that you are a vendor and doing that. But it's super exciting when you get there, because a lot of people get rejected. So if you get accepted, it's super good. My daughter had some of my products and some of hers. So now I'll tell you, let's go through a couple of things she sold. She probably sold over 1,000 earrings, I would say. So make sure you have a lot of products there. For me, anyone in the soap candle industry, my biggest seller was car diffusers. I sold lots of those, lots of lip balms as well, and some shower steamers. So anything that looks super professional, people are going to buy. So that's one thing that's very important to make sure, that you have all these products. And you need to have a lot of products. If you don't have a lot, you're not going to sell them. That's the truth. So, and, do remember that they're going to sell a lot. And we've seen a lot of other retails that sold out. So on the 10th or maybe the 9th day, they literally sold out. They had no products left. So make sure you have lots of products, because there's nothing worse when you don't. Hello, Karen. Welcome, my love. So products are super important. Now, at the end of this event, after doing this, my daughter did sell over $20,000 worth of products, but there were other people that told us that they only just made their money back. So they would have only sold $6,000. So this is the thing, everybody. You can't go expecting to sell everything. My thing is, if you don't sell enough, or you're realizing you're not selling much, I would actually use that as an event to hand out so many brochures. That's what I would be doing, So if something's not working, use it as an event. And as my daughter said, she got hundreds more followers on social media and lots more sales online through this. But some people are going to make heaps of money, some aren't. And if you don't, you need to ask yourself, why not? You need to say, why am I not selling? And, if it is like, it might be your prices. Maybe it's your display. Honestly, I don't think it's prices much. I think a lot of it is the display. And you got to remember, if you're going to sell heavy candles, people don't want to carry a candle around the whole show. And especially when it's hot, they think, it might melt. So if you're going to do candles, I suggest doing smaller candles. Maybe small to medium. Don't do large ones that, people just don't want to carry that. They prefer to go into a shop and take that home. But even myself, I did get lots more followers from it because we handed a lot of my brochures out, because I did have a lot of my products at my daughter's stall as well. So my daughter was super sweet letting me sell them, and I did sell quite a lot. So I was very excited with that. And I did have lots of people come to visit me. A lovely lady that's been following me from the start, Leah, she did come and visit me and bought some more things. Dama Soaps came and visited me. So a big hi to all of them. And I know there was others. I'm sorry I can't remember everyone, but lots of people did come and visit me and my daughter that knew us from either TikTok or YouTube. So that was super nice. And it was great to do this with my daughter because, we're both business women and we do talk a lot about, what works, what doesn't, and so on. And my daughter does sell a lot of products. But once again, like I said, you kind of got to look at your price. And I seen, some of the products she had, for instance, hair clips. She sells them for $5. And as she said, she still, makes a profit. But then there was other people selling them 3 times that. So that's the thing, I think you've got to also be a little bit realistic. People don't want to spend a fortune on something. But then, look, I had some people say, oh, that's expensive. So, and I'm just like, well, it's not expensive. Maybe we're just not their market. And, that's okay too. But you've got to be realistic. We're businesses needing to make money. And if most people realised that it cost $6,000 or more to have these stalls, they would be shocked. And I had people say, oh, is it free to have a stall? I'm like, no, absolutely not. It costs a fortune to have these stalls. So that's, like I said, that is super important, just to understand these things as well. And of course, when I did this, I wasn't able to do a lot of work on my own business. I had to kind of stop a lot of that. I had to pre-do some videos. So I do have some new ones coming out. I will be making a soap video and hopefully today, I will be putting it on today because it was on Patreon yesterday. I will come out with I've got a new body butter video with a recipe coming out. So that will come out today on YouTube. But Patreon have had that yesterday. They do get a day or so before everyone else. So I hope that these things are, like I said, just, helpful to understand the process, how it kind of works, what you're going to sell or not sell. Because it's quite hard, isn't it? I mean, we all want to do these big events. And that's why I did do quite a few videos as we went along as well. Oh, and another thing you can do is we did it, what's called a scavenger hunt. So for anyone that doesn't know, on your social media, you'll say, okay, this is what we're putting in. So you show them all the products they're going into a special bag, and then you hide it at the show. And if any of those people come to the show, they can try and find it. And we gave away hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of products at the show. My particular one, when I put it on social media, we were really careful trying to, so nobody would see them. We hid them under bushes and, behind Ferris wheels and things like that. But you'll be amazed. The one I did, I think was found in 4 minutes. It was really fast. So because people are watching and then I tell them it's going to be put somewhere. So then they got it. Some of my daughter's ones were found within 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And I think she did 4, I did 1. So it's funny, isn't it? They're found very, very fast. But that's something that, and really the goal of that is you want them to undo the product, show it on social media, and so on. That's really the goal behind this, so that people will see what you're doing. And for anyone wanting to know, I am sorry that my new website has not come up yet. It will take over my one that I've got going at the moment, but because of the show, I haven't had time. But hopefully by Friday, which is in a week's time. Hopefully, that it will come up then, but I'm working really hard on it, so you'll see some really cool, fun new things, and I am getting some new professional boxes for a couple things, so that's a bit exciting, isn't it? But that's what I mean. All of these things allow you to go and do something else. So I could not have paid for all these boxes if I didn't do something like this, and then that gives me the money to do another thing. And as many of you know, I'm not a rich person or anything. I'm just a normal person. So, with a standard 3-bedroom home. So basically, to do all of these things, it will lead you to something else. But I'm going to be honest, if it was me, I would not have paid the $6,000 for the stall. I wouldn't have had that kind of money, but my daughter is a really high volume seller. So even though it was still a big investment for her to invest, I guess, you have to have that money, or you have to be prepared to spend that money and possibly lose it, because you never know what's going to happen. And we aren't in good times. I think if she was in good times, she would have doubled what she took. But she was still very, very happy with the money that she actually took. But that's the thing, and if we're in really good times, you're going to have lots more competition of people trying to get into these events. But once you're in, usually what happens, the next year they will offer it to you before someone else. So that's pretty much how these things work. Also, make sure you have signage. I've seen some people that just had the stall that were white walls, and they put nothing on the stall. They didn't have any images on the stall, no branding, no nothing. That's not a good move. You really need some sort of branding for people to see, because honestly, the ones with white walls, I looked at them, that it wasn't professional, and I just walked straight past. And they may have been really professional, had gorgeous products, but it just did not bring me in for me to want to look. Whereas my daughter's was pink and white, and it was, it was colourful, so it really made people go, wow, I'll look at this. And, like I said, she tried to have as much products as she could have on her shelf. And as she said, retail-wise, she probably had around about $70,000 of products that were, that's at a retail sale product. Obviously, it's not what it cost her to make it, but she had roughly about that much. Like I said, she did sell over way over $20,000 dollars of products. But like I said, some people may have only taken $10,000, which, look, I think if it was me and I only took 8 or 10,000, I would have been very disappointed. Because that basically means you're not really making much money, are you? If the stall's $6,500, and obviously it's not all profit when you make it, because it does cost money to make things. I think if you pay $5,000 for a stall, you want to take $15,000 at least. You really want to triple what you've invested, and to me, that's at a minimum. So from here, I will be doing the Port Fairy. It will be the Port Fairy Folk Festival. I will be doing that in March, and of course that kind of is just before my conference. So of course I will be doing the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. So if you haven't bought a ticket, you can get one online, or you can definitely go over, and you will be lucky enough to meet the gorgeous Marie from Humble Bee and me. She will be there, as well as a Long Story Short, and we do have some amazing people. I will be doing another video very soon for another lady from Crafty Space. I love her stuff. She has the I think it's called DTF labeling, and I will have those on my new mugs that are going into my new shop when that opens. So that's super exciting, isn't it? But yeah, so make sure you support us over there. We can't keep this conference going with without your support, and I really do appreciate it, because all of these things that I do, honestly, I do these to help everyone, because when I started, like I said, nobody told me how this all worked. Somebody's saying something. I look like a lady from a movie. Oh, that's funny. Thank you. I don't know if I've seen that movie, but I do get told I have one of those faces. So maybe I do just have one of those faces. Oh, Matilda. God, I hope it's not Trunchbull, because, but who knows? I'm at that age, so who knows? But anyway, I hope that everyone has enjoyed, like I said, just a little bit of information just to help everybody, I'm Australian. I'm not British. Yeah, I'm Australian. So I guess a lot of Australians do have a British background, but I have a Scottish background. But my mum's family are British, many generations back, for that person star that's actually asking. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this, everybody. And I hope that, like I said, this little bit of information helps. Please reach out to me on Patreon, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions and help you out if that helps. But like I said, there's lots of events in Australia if you're doing it. As I said, there's the Port Fairy Folk Festival. Obviously, there is the Melbourne Show. There is Moomba. That is another one. There's probably many. And also, a lot of people do, they travel from state to state. So there's the Queensland Show, the Sydney Show, Melbourne Show, Adelaide Show, Canberra Show, all of those shows. So I know a lot of ladies I met, they actually travel from every show. So they literally go from one show to the next. So, but you have to be prepared to travel, and then, put your traveling costs into what you're going to sell. But anyway, that's just a bit about, a lot of people do those. There's another event called Sexpo. There's also the drag festivals that people do as well. They have a retail spot. So there's lots and lots of different events. So just try and look for events that are festival typed. Like I said, festivals, folk festivals, music festivals. They're always really good ones to sell at. Of course, all the carnival events. But, you have to make sure that your product is carnival looking. So for instance, if I had all floral, flowery things, maybe it's not going to be as fun, and because people want to have an item that's just fun, like, as my daughter and I were saying, everybody is walking around with hot pink cowboy hats on, because it's kind of something they always sell at the Melbourne show, but you're probably never going to wear that again. It's just something fun that you would wear there. So think of things like that maybe are a little bit fun. Like my daughter had little mystery show bags that people love to buy, and even if it's $30 a show bag, it doesn't matter. They just might want to have a mystery thing, and you could tell them, it might be $60 worth for $30 or something like that. So anyway, they're kind of a few tips and things that you could do. But anyway, I hope this helps, and I will see you on my next video. Bye, friends.